Are you ready to go into the multiverse with me?
I mean, I was a week and a half ago, but then I lost my voice for a week, and
I couldn't swallow very nicely.
Yeah,
it was horrible.
Yeah, we did best laid plans on that. I went to the very first showing of this in Newcastle.
Yeah, you and all the other people who were really excited to see it.
Yes, and then I said to you, "Let's go see it." We were away that weekend, but you went and saw it as soon as we were back.
Yeah,
and then illness struck.
And then everything went.
Yeah.
To really throat-orientated illness.
Yeah.
Odd.
You
had tonsillitis.
I had tonsillitis. I spent 2 days speaking like Mer-Man from the He-Man cartoons.
And then at one
point...
point...
Do you know who Mer-Man from the He-Man cartoons is?
No, I have no idea,
Okay.
but I can imagine just from being in the house with you. But then at one point, like, you did the whole thing and showed me about you, and I recoiled.
Yes.
Like, I physically recoiled. And I love a bit of medical. Like, I was saying that to one of our mates today. I was like, I love a bit, show me your wound, show me your spot, like, I like looking and trying to diagnose it. And I ran away from the back of your throat.
Yeah,
it was alien.
You know when they say, like, check out if you've got white spots on you? I had some pink bits in between the whiteness on my tonsils.
Yeah, things growing. Yeah.
Anyway. A round of penicillin has helped that, and yes.
Good old antibiotics, woohoo!
Yeah, and now I'm feeling fit and healthy.
And here we are, very, very late, but finally, late but great. Wasn't there a thing like we're late but we're looking great? Wasn't that a line from something? Like a radio show or something like that? No? Have I made that up?
I mean, it's not one I've ever heard of.
I thought you would. Yeah, I was looking at you thinking, you're going to rattle it straight off.
It might be a local to Newcastle thing.
Right. Anyway, we're here, we're fine. We're going to talk about Doctor Strange. I sang a little tune at the beginning of the episode. I have no idea why. It was nothing to do with anything to do with the film. But anyway, I felt a musical accompaniment, now that I can use my voice, would be appropriate. We haven't spoken about this.
It's now a week since you've been, exactly a week.
Yeah, how have we not been, like...
Well, because I wasn't able to speak for the vast majority of the week.
But I could, and I like to speak.
Yes.
So I thought I might have been able to tease out just, like a tiny little moment of what you felt overall about it, and I don't have a clue. Like, genuinely, I don't have a clue. You've kept it very much to yourself.
I mean, you should really check out our Letterboxd page, and
I haven't looked at that.
You will see my star rating on there.
Okay.
As I do for any film that I see. But yeah. So we're going to go into spoilers later on.
Yeah.
But do you want my spoiler-free thoughts?
Spoiler-free thoughts, please. Get my teeth in.
I have massive problems with this film.
Oh God, that's a way to start it off.
But there are more things that I loved than things that I disliked. Overall, it came out quite happy. It was what I wanted. I can completely understand why there's a negative reaction, because I don't think it's what a lot of people expected from this film. It's not the direct sequel to No Way Home. It's more a sequel to a different Marvel property, which we'll probably go into in spoilers, but well, is that a spoiler? No.
No, I think it is. I think it is. Because the trailer gave the trailer gave a lot away with one hand and not very much with another. And again, we'll come back to that later. So there are certain elements of the film that I think you wouldn't have picked up if you just watched the trailers, for example. So yeah, let's keep that for later.
There are shocks and surprises in this that I really, really enjoyed. And they were trivial surprises. They had no consequence on the plot. They've got no consequence on the MCU going forward, I suspect. But they were fun while they lasted. There were references to things that I did not expect at all. I don't know if you even know what that is.
I don't think I do.
Okay.
I know there are so many things that if you are a Marvel fan, you would have got so much more readily than I ever would. Yeah, I've come out of that just things going over my head, I think.
Before we go deep diving into sort of with spoiler-free thoughts, what did you think?
So I went to see the 3D version.
Oh, you did, didn't you?
So I think I have to mention that at the beginning. There were 4 people in my showing, and then me. And I did not have particularly huge expectations around it. I'm not a Marvel aficionado, as we've spoken about many times on the pod. You know so much more about it than I do. I watch the films, I kind of forget, they're kind of quite forgettable, I find. I wish I loved them. I really wish I was in the lore, but I'm not. I can't really remember what happened in Doctor Strange 1. I remember Tilda Swinton. I remember Benedict Cumberbatch.
I purposefully watched the first half an hour and the last half hour of it before I went to see it.
So going to see it in 3D was like, it's a bit of a like, I'll pay me extra £2, but I wanted to go somewhere it was quiet and I could just relax. And that's what I did. I just had a really good time. I had no idea what was happening most of the time. Most of the time I was thinking, what is this? And then when the shocks and surprises came up, I got a bit confused because I couldn't put certain things together. There were people, I had no idea who they were. But from the point of view of this whole idea of the multiverse, which is in the title, so it's not giving anything away, so that people knew this was going to be a multiverse film. I love that concept. I really like that idea of this is your life. This is your life. This is your life in lots of different versions. I think that's a really cool idea. And I liked seeing that being played out on the screen. Not necessarily as successfully as I would have liked in some circumstances. And I think there were some things where I think, oh, it's a bit safe. But I really like that idea of this is who you are in this universe, but there are many, many other versions of you living out your life. And it's meant to be that, you know, simple decisions that you take have a huge impact on you long term. So, you know, you come out of a street, you turn left.
You're on a subway, some doors open or close. You meet John Hannah or not, and get your hair cut. Dido sings about oh no, it's not Dido. Is it Dido?
Is it? Oh, I thought it's not.
Yeah, it is. It's
Thingy You Here With Me? That one?
No. So, right, okay, so we're on about Sliding Doors.
We're on about Sliding Doors now.
The big theme from Sliding Doors is Aqua's Turn Back Time.
Of course it is, yeah.
But over the closing credits, Dido's Thank You plays, which is where Eminem heard it and then sampled it for Stan.
Okay.
That's some music trivia for
that
you.
Is At
least
trivia,
that was the story at the time. But yeah, it definitely came out in that order.
And I like films like that. I like that concept. So I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it, actually. I think that's a bit muted. I really enjoyed it. The time flew. I wasn't bored. There was huge emotional arcs that I found incredibly resonant, which we will go into in spoilers. So I came out feeling like I'd had an emotional journey, not necessarily with the people who I think I meant to have had an emotional journey with, but again, like you say, there are points to it where you can pick it apart, but I really enjoyed it. I was like 4-star when I left the cinema. I've subsequently listened to a number of podcasts where the range of opinions have gone from, you know, this is an absolute masterpiece to this is one of the worst Marvel films that's come out. So I find that diversity of review really interesting.
I totally agree. I think we've had so many cookie cutter Marvel films now that I'm so glad that they're taking risks like this. I mean, we've not mentioned Sam Raimi yet. This is his big return, and I think probably before we go into spoilers, it's probably worth having a chat about Sam Raimi. What's your knowledge of Sam Raimi?
Oh, very little. Very, very little. So the only Sam Raimi films I've ever seen are the Spider-Man films, the Spider-Mans that came out in the 2000s.
You've seen another Sam Raimi film?
Have I?
Yes.
Have you made me watch it?
Yes.
What is it?
You saw A Simple Plan.
Oh, is that him?
Yes.
Oh, right, okay.
See Previous Date Night.
Okay, thanks, love. I might listen back to that one where you talk to me about Sam Raimi, the director. So but I know of him.
Yeah.
So we read Empire. We listen to podcasts. Of course, I know of The Evil Dead. I know of Bruce Campbell. I know of like the zombies and Books of the Dead, and I know maybe could we call them tropes? I don't know. I know of the style, and when people said, "Oh, Sam Raimi's going to come with this," said it was going to be the first Marvel horror, which I was looking forward to seeing. But I've not sat down and watched these. I feel I should now because I've heard so many people talking about them. I feel I should, and perhaps I wouldn't be quite as scared now as maybe if I had watched them at the time, although I would have been very young. I think it might have moved. I think my scaredness might have moved on quite a bit by then.
I mean, I watched the Evil Dead trilogy in one Halloween night.
I mean, what are you doing?
Straight
Honestly.
after 2008, straight after coming out of Quantum of Solace, which opened that night. We came out and me and Neil stopped up and watched, well, let's face it, we watched Evil Dead, then we watched Evil Dead 2 and got really confused because it's not so much a sequel, it's as much a remake. Okay. So it starts with the same characters going to the house on the same way. But then once we got established on that, we both fell asleep during that, and then we watched Army of Darkness in the morning.
So do you have you completed Sam Raimi? Have you done all of the Sam Raimi films?
No. I've seen the big ones. I've seen Darkman, which was that's a really good.
Yeah, I've heard that's meant to be good.
I really enjoyed that. That's kind of, I mean, it was in 1990, so it was a long time before Spider-Man, but it certainly was his audition for a superhero movie before superhero movies were common, I guess. I've seen Oz the Great and Powerful, which I could tell you nothing about.
I have seen that as well, but I did not enjoy that.
And I need to revisit your initial
statement.
I
think I do. And didn't you do Drag Me to Hell, which I saw the trailer for and vowed never to watch that film?
That is a lot of fun.
Terrified me.
It's on iPlayer at the minute. It was on over the weekend, just gone. Thanks. So if anyone's looking for a nice little horror film,
don't do it.
A fun little horror film. No, it's a lot of fun, and I love that. Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I think I'm really glad. I think I mentioned this during the Eternals, that I'm really glad that the MCU have started taking risks and giving directors. I mean, this is, everyone said this is Raimi at like 0.5%.
Yeah, I get that.
But still, Sam Raimi at 0.5% is something that I'd rather watch than cookie cutter.
Agreed.
I can't even tell you who directed like the first Captain America film or the second Thor film, because I know the first one was Kenneth Branagh, but
Branagh did the first, didn't he?
But I couldn't tell you who did the second one. Might be Branagh still again, but yeah. Anyway, it's just. So I've got to say as well before we go on, right. I have seen another film today which has.
Oh, you have, yes.
Has links to this,
like similar themes.
Yes, anyone who knows what films are out this weekend will know what it is, and so my opinion on this film might have been tinged by that, because I think that's one of the greatest films I've ever seen at the cinema.
God, your hyperbole is off the chart.
I think this is deserved in this case. I'm not the only person who said that.
Oh, right.
Yeah, but yeah, it's.
Well, it's funny because my sort of enjoyment of Doctor Strange has also been tinged by listening to some of the pods, not the pods that are talking about the messiness, as you've already alluded to. But the pods that have really ripped it apart and picked major holes in it, that I've come away sort of like going, oh, maybe it wasn't as good as... But my feeling at the time, I knew there were problems with it, but my feeling, being in the cinema, I know sometimes you have to go on feeling, don't you, is that I just was having a really good time.
And I think that's it. And I think if you didn't spot them, it's a sign. If you were looking for these things, then it's a sign you didn't work for them. And I'm really sorry that if people had those experiences, but... Yeah, there's plot holes you could drive a bus through, but I didn't care at the time. Yeah. I think that there is... I think there are issues with the first act. How rare for me, I think the first act was too rushed and needed another 15 minutes on top of it.
That is rare for you.
If I hadn't seen a certain Marvel property beforehand, I would not have a clue what's going on. Yeah. I mean, that would be even more rushed. There's a lot of setting people up to be in the right place at the right time, and if there is an expectation that these Marvel films need to be seen before people watch it, then that's gonna harm them long term.
You mean the TV?
Yes, sorry, the Marvel TV, because people will go to the cinema to see a Marvel film, and we've seen this, that people will go to see Ant-Man that no one really cares about, but people will still go in their millions to see it. Yeah. Well, not millions, but yeah. Anyway, you get what I mean.
But they may not sit at their TV screen and watch What If.
What If,
for example.
Yeah, or Moon Knight.
Yeah.
It's... Yeah, they are they're cheapening the products by making people have to sit through these films, and they're making them less desirable to people. Because if I'm Fred off the street who just walked in and went, what's going on here? That's going to hurt Marvel long term. I mean, and is the money that Disney Plus makes up for that going to change it? Maybe,
well,
but
I don't know, because do people then go back and watch the things that they then realise they should have watched before they went in? So do you not get...
I think
you know,
random person on the street.
back?
I think random person on the street just
doesn't,
walks away.
Yeah, just says,
And
I
like,
don't know what that was about.
Yeah. And yeah, these films make $1 billion. It's going to take a lot of subscribers for Disney Plus to make $1 billion.
Yeah.
And these are 3 times per year that they can probably average $1 billion per film, or somewhere near there worldwide. But for me, who is happy to sit through, I've seen every Marvel show from start to finish. I'm happy to go there, and yeah.
What was your star rating?
4 stars.
I thought, okay,
4 stars.
Well,
Yeah. Like I said, there was the things that I loved, I adored. The things that I disliked annoyed me. Okay. So it was, I think, there was more that disliked me than normal, that annoyed me than normal, but the highs were higher than others.
I wonder if we're going to have the same thing. I've got a feeling that we might have liked different things.
Yes, I would agree.
Think, let's dive in and go to spoilers.
Yeah, let's do that. So, spoilers from here on. Don't listen any further forwards if you don't want to be spoiled on Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Every night, I dream the same dream. And then... the nightmare begins. I did what I had to do to protect our world.
You cannot control everything, Strange. You opened the doorway between universes, and we don't know who or what will walk through it.
Wanda, what do you know about the multiverse?
Viz had his theories. He believed it was dangerous.
He was right.
I'm sorry, Stephen. Your desecration of reality will not go unpunished.
We should tell him the truth.
Things just got out of hand.
You break the rules.
Look out!
And become a hero. I do it, I become the enemy. It doesn't seem fair.
What to start with?
I want to talk about the surprises.
Okay, go on.
Because I think they are inconsequential. So
Yeah,
let's just
they
get them
are.
out of the way.
All right, go on then.
So, how many of these people did you recognise who they were? So, so we're talking about the Illuminati scene. There are 6 people who rock up. One is...
I mean, you've just asked me how many people do I recognise, and now you're going to list them.
No, well, okay, so one I tell is Mordo, who we see before, and yeah, you know that is.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
So the other 5...
But I did not know who he was.
Oh, can you not remember him at all?
No, I had no idea who that was. I mean, I know they set it up as like, oh, he was my mortal enemy, and oh, he wanted... Couldn't remember him at all.
So he wasn't his mortal enemy, he was his contemporary in the school where he learns the ways.
Really?
And then he turns evil in the post-credit sting of Doctor Strange, which has kind
Cool.
of been forgotten about, other than, yeah.
I did not like him. I mean, I didn't like him as but I didn't feel it.
Okay.
I didn't feel it. Are you going to list the other people now, or would you like me to tell you who I?
I want you to tell me who you recognise.
I recognise your great love, John Krasinski.
John Krasinski is Reed Richards, the head of the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, the man who you would marry if you weren't married to me. Oh, come on.
Can I be controversial?
Oh, go on.
I've been waiting for John Krasinski to turn up as Reed Richards for
I mean,
a long
everyone?
time.
Yeah.
I don't want him to be Reed Richards anymore.
I don't. I didn't like. I think there was something. He looked a bit odd. I know he's meant to be all stretchy and everything, but he just didn't quite. He didn't look right.
No, he didn't.
Something didn't look right.
I wonder if I suspect he's not been on set at the same time as the rest of these people.
There was something like.
Yeah.
There was something different. I couldn't quite put my finger on it.
And I think Reed Richards is such a serious, sort of per-faced role.
Yeah.
It absolutely does not give you the best of Krasinski.
And they were saying, oh, he's the most intelligent man on the planet. Really? Because that did not come across. And then, of course, died. And everyone else did. So not that clever. Captain Marvel. No, not Captain Marvel. Yes, Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel. From No Time to Die.
Yes.
Lashana Lynch. I, in the back of my mind, thought, oh, was she in the Captain Marvel film? I'm sure she was, because I've got a random memory at the back of my head that's you telling me that she's Captain Marvel's mate when I'm saying, oh, there's that woman from No Time to Die. So, yes, there's a connection there, isn't there? She hasn't just rocked up.
Yeah, and she is the mum of...
Of the little girl.
Of the girl who's in WandaVision.
Yes.
Who now has powers because she was ploughed through
Because she was... Yes, right, that all makes sense. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Is she called like Captain Britain or something like that?
Yes, Captain Carter, but yeah. Hayley Atwell. Lovely Hayley Atwell. Very excited to see Hayley Atwell back. She absolutely just went for it. I really like it when she's all, I'm just glad that she's
battly.
got something to do in these films.
Yeah, she was, she was throwing her around and what's it called? The shield. The shield and everything. And she was fun and she looked amazing and yes, but completely inconsequential, and all I remember was thinking, oh, that's from What If.
The one episode of What If that you sat through.
One episode of What If that I sat through and I thought was awful. And, well, not awful, but it just didn't do anything for me. And then, right, Jean-Luc Picard shows up, obviously.
Charles Xavier. Patrick Stewart.
Yeah. But then, who's this Black Bolt fella?
Do you not know?
I had no idea who that was. I didn't know who was playing him. It was just when you think, oh, I've really missed something here. What is this?
Think back to the summer of 2017.
Oh, do I have to?
When the greatest Marvel property of all time was launched in IMAX, and the one person in the world who went to see the Inhumans pilot projected on IMAX at the cinema was me.
It was you.
So he is the guy from Inhumans. It's Anson Mount.
I don't know who that is. Love.
You will do. He's in.
Really?
He's in.
I was like looking at
his
a lot
of things
and thinking.
So he's in Star Trek. He plays Pike, I think, in the new Star Trek. I'm showing Elaine a picture of Anson Mount.
Oh, he looks vaguely familiar.
And in that, he can't speak because if he does, he will destroy everyone. He's actually the love interest in Crossroads.
Nice.
Yes.
The ITV.
No, not the ITV. The Britney Spears.
Thought you meant it was the soap.
No.
Oh, okay, right. So he was in the old Britney Spears film.
Yeah, he was in Inhumans. I think that's. You watched a bit of Inhumans with me.
I did, but I've obviously forgotten.
I think
was there a woman with big hair?
There was a woman with big hair.
That's it.
Who was shaved off by Ramsey from.
Ramsey Bolt from.
Yeah. That's what happens when you press a button on Anson Mount's IMDb page. Yeah, Ramsey from Game of Thrones. Yeah, he shaved off her hair. There was a girl who could teleport. There was a big dog. A big CGI dog.
It's all coming back to me now.
And there was a guy who had, was a centaur, so top half a man,
yes, he was,
bottom half had hooves.
Yeah.
And I think the point where you left this show, because it was shown on Sky One as well, was when there was a long shot of him on the beach, just wearing fairy boots. Didn't even bother to CGI things. I swear, I don't know if it's even available anywhere. I suspect on Disney Plus. If anyone wants to watch one of the shoddiest things that you will ever see from a major studio, go watch the first couple of episodes of The Inhumans because it's appalling.
Well, why is he in this? You know, I mean, cool thing that Wanda then closes his mouth. He then.
I mean, that's
pulls his own
horrific.
head out. I mean, it's awful. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it was
Because the Illuminati is a thing in the comics,
Right.
and he is a member of the Illuminati. I think there are a number of them, so you might as well use something that's like a reference back to one thing that me remembers, and that's
Yeah.
probably about it.
Do you not find the name Illuminati really problematic?
Absolutely,
I
yeah.
really
I'm
dislike
surprised they used
that.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I suddenly thought, would I be using that?
Would
now?
I mean, no. And come on, there's I mean, they must diverge from the comics in so many different ways. Surely someone had the thought to go, should we just call it something else? You know?
Well, you know,
Yeah.
like, yeah.
So yeah, that scene, enjoyable in a way, but I did not like it as much as many other people did. Many other people that, you know, I've read the reviews and listened to them, they really talk about that scene as being like a pivotal scene for them, and I could have done without it. The only bit of that scene that I really, really enjoyed was when Professor X goes into Wanda's mind, and you have the throwback to the war that she experienced as a child, and the fact that she found solace in television, and you've got that television set
Yes.
that you see in WandaVision, and then her trapped, her mind, you know, that showing like those two parts of personality, and the mind being trapped, and then that red smoke cloud coming behind it. I thought that was so powerful, and I really love that representation of the mind and what happens when there's part of you sort of trapped somewhere and there's another part taken. So I really loved that representation, but that was kind of it. I mean, I like Wanda throwing people about, and I like the fact that people died, because, you know, at least there was some jeopardy there, but I'd only met them 5 minutes ago.
That's the bit that I liked, though. I liked the fact it was a big, like, fake out for everyone who was, like, wanted, like, the X-Men to turn up or something like that.
Oh, right.
It's a bit like, you won't have seen a film called MacGruber, will you?
Nope.
So MacGruber is like a Saturday Night Live spin-off where he's kind of like a Rambo character, or a wannabe Rambo character, and he assembles there was a film version, and he assembles this big troop of like people to come and like help him out. Well, they are all played by wrestlers, funnily enough.
Oh, of course they are.
Yeah, and then so he assembles them all together, and then they all just die in quick action. It's a bit like Deadpool, where the team parachute in and all die on the way down. And, yeah, but yeah, look, it amused me. It gave me like a jaw on the floor when John Krasinski turns up, and then I found it really funny when they promptly killed them all off.
Yeah.
In a really horrific fashion.
In a really, really awful one. Yeah, but it was very bloody. It was very violent. I enjoyed that bit of it. You know, it's a 12A, but I think it's very much resting at the top of that category, and it was good, because I don't want to go and see a Universal superhero film.
Yeah.
I mean, there are places for that.
Yeah.
You know, and there will be people out there who are looking to take their children.
Space
and
Chimps.
you know that's. But that's
Space Chimps 2.
Can you stop? But that, for me, at Doctor Strange, where you're going in, they called it in the mad, you know, the madness of the multiverse, and that's what I wanted to see. Although I don't think I saw as much madness as I would have liked. I would have liked it to be pushed even further, to be honest with you. And I think I agree with that, or the whole idea of, even though I'm not a Raimi person, your comment that it was only 0.5 of Raimi. I saw that. I mean, but to be honest with you, Mark, I wasn't seeing Sam Raimi. I was seeing Carrie. I was seeing The Ring. I was seeing Terminator. So I wasn't necessarily seeing Raimi. I was seeing almost like these representations of other films that I knew, but maybe I was missing.
So two of those films were created after The Evil Dead.
Right.
That
so
you mentioned.
You're saying it's
yeah,
okay. But yeah, I could have done with a bit more, actually.
I think so. There is the scene where they are flying through the multiverses, and
yes,
I cannot wait for this to come out on home video so that I can pause them and slow frame and see everything going on.
Aren't you really annoyed though that was in the trailer? Because the trailer was meant to be a teaser of what we see. So I'm thinking, okay, this is just a snapshot of what we might see in terms of the multiverses. Oh no, these are the multiverses.
No, actually, I disagree with you there. I'm not annoyed that was in the trailer. I'm annoyed that what was in the trailer we saw on screen. So, I think, if anything, we can praise this for not showing half the things that they could have done in the trailer. I went into this not knowing who the baddie was going to be.
Yeah.
I certainly didn't think that the baddie was going to be Wanda.
No.
And
we'll come back to whether she's
Yes.
a baddie or not in a bit. I have issues with that, but yeah, that sequence of all the multiverse, I wanted to see the dinosaurs more. I wanted, why can't we be in the paint universe for longer? Because the multiverses we stayed in the longest were just Earth.
Yeah.
With pizza balls and
Yes.
you might get food for free. Oh no, you don't. And red means go and oh no, come on, be a bit more.
If I were to mention a film that I may or may not have seen today, that is somewhere where we visit a lot of different multiverses, and it has a lot of fun with that. And I think that's the thing that's made me realise that I really wish we'd seen more different, more multiverses rather than just sort of flying through for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm totally with you there. I think it's expectations, isn't it? And they could have visited 100 multiverses and people would still say, why didn't they do 150? Because that was the expectations, that we're going to see all this crazy shit with X-Men and the Inhumans and we did see the Inhumans, but one of them. But yeah, and then also see the young Avengers in one, and will you see one where Captain America and Iron Man come back?
No, we're just going to see Benedict Cumberbatch in a number of wigs.
Yes.
And some interesting beards. And that's kind of it. That was the point of difference in each one of, he's very sad in these ones, or dead. And our Doctor Strange is the better of all of them. Of all the versions, he's the nicest, is essentially what we're
Well, it's the nicest of the two that we saw.
But that's what I mean.
Yeah.
I don't know. We haven't spoken about Doctor Strange, and this is a Doctor Strange film. I know we're going to come on and talk about Wanda in a minute, but is there a reason, do you think, when we were talking about all these things, we've not gone straight into the main point of the film, which is that Doctor Strange is jumping through various multiverses in a way that we have just described isn't necessarily as satisfactory as we wanted, with this young girl, this 16-year-old, I'm presuming she's 16 in real life, so America Chavez, and that's meant to be our main plot, but we haven't really spoken about that at all.
And isn't that telling?
Yes, it is.
Because, America Chavez is very underserved in this. I don't know America Chavez as a comic book character.
She looks great.
And
she's really,
I'd like to see things with more in. I'd like to learn a bit about her rather than, oh look, she wished her mums away because a wasp came.
Well, she didn't wish them away.
No, but
she opened up the thing and then they fell through. But yeah.
But
and she can't control her power, but she can at the end.
That's the amount of character development that we have.
It is.
For
this. I know.
She is a MacGuffin. She's a means to an end.
Yeah.
And she's.
But she's really good and I thought they made a really good team actually. And I got sort of, it wasn't Goonies vibes, but I got that sort of
short round.
Maybe it was a bit more Indiana Jones. It was a grumpy older man and a younger person that's full of verve. That is actually there was that is capable, and Shorty in Indiana Jones comes to Indy's rescue a number of times, and that's what I kind of saw with this America and Doctor Strange combination. I thought I'd like to see them together again and perhaps develop that character a little more.
I'm not a big fan of Doctor Strange.
No, neither am I.
I'd rather see her do something interesting rather than be stuck with someone who... So, let's go into my big problems with this film overall, is that Doctor Strange and Wanda are as powerful as they need to be in the very moment to drive the plot along. And who's the strongest? Well, it's Doctor Strange up until Wanda needs to have the advantage, at which point... And, Wanda can take on anyone. And why didn't she just imagine Thanos to be dead? And she nearly did, but she was attacked by a ship. But she can take down the entire of whatever the place is in Nepal.
And Wong as well. We haven't talked about Wong yet, but he's the Sorcerer supreme. Is
Yes,
that right?
yes, that's right.
I thought I got that completely wrong there. And then he's really powerful, but he's not really.
Yeah.
And the whole of Camotage can
Thank
stop
you. I'm
anyone
glad that you
coming
got the
through.
names.
But then it falls because she whispers in a bloke's ear, and that's it.
It's just. I like to see a consistency of powers, and I think you can just make anything up. It's just a bit like
this
kids
is why
playing
with these
in a sandbox.
Films, that's why I struggle sometimes with them, because I just don't feel that there are any what's the word I'm looking for? I was gonna say issues, but it's not issues. There are any sort of the stakes.
Law.
The law is there. The stakes. Things don't really matter. People aren't always dead. Do you know what I mean?
I don't think that really classes in this situation.
No, but that's what I'm saying about it's the lightness, isn't it? You're talking about the powers change according to how much you need it for the film.
Yeah.
And I'm saying it's the same thing. There's this superficial layer of these things don't really matter. These things don't have any weight to them.
It's not.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
I see where you're coming from.
I'm not disagreeing with
I
you.
wouldn't necessarily tie the 2 points in together, but yeah, that's that's fair enough. It's. Should we go into the themes of this film? Because I mean, God, I had to come back and say to you, for anyone who's listened to only a couple of our episodes,
or none,
or none, or this is the first one. A few years ago, we suffered the loss of a child. It was a twin. We had twins, and our first twin, Henry, passed away. So, when we see twins in films, it is quite triggering. We saw it when we watched WandaVision.
Yes.
And
we rolled our eyes.
Yes,
and
it's amazing how often twins come up as a plot device. You realise at the time.
We did, and subsequently to our experience, we see it in so many TV and films. I thought Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger were going to be the only thing that I would see on the TV that would be of an issue, but no, they're in everything. So
I feel myself constantly coming back from the cinema and going, if you're going to go see this, Northman the other day,
they're everywhere. And WandaVision was a major one because they were twin boys. They weren't identical, so that helps in weirdly in a certain sense because our boys were identical. But there is this theme of here are these twin boys, and you see them growing up and being together. And then obviously this film really takes on that idea that she has lost her children.
Yes.
And that she's doing this in order to live the life that she wants to live with her two twin boys. Now that is, that sits very strongly within both of us. And I thought about it so much during the film, and that's why I heard someone say that she was a villain the other day. I just thought, oh God, I just don't see her like that. And I understand why other people do, but it's the strongest representation that I have ever seen on both TV and film of grief and anger and desperation and wishing that something, the experience that you thought you were going to have was still with you when it is not. And so I don't see her as a baddie, even though I know she's killed loads of people and she's trying to
she wants to murder a 16-year-old.
And I know that sounds absolutely mad, but to me it makes total sense. I totally get what she wants to do, because Elizabeth Olsen, I don't know whether she
You totally get what she wants to do.
Yeah. What?
I'm going to keep the 16-year-olds away from this house then.
No, but those 16-year-olds with superpowers that can jump through multiverses that we see every day on the street. Yeah. But don't I don't. As far as I'm aware, and I've listened to loads of interviews with her. As far as I'm aware, Elizabeth Olsen has not experienced a loss of our nature. I'm sure she's experienced much loss in her life, but I don't think she's specifically had this one, as far as I'm aware. I don't know where she is drawing this from, because when she is on screen and she talks about that loss and she talks about that longing and the grief and the anger, and you can see it within her, where the hell is she getting that from? Because there are times where I looked at her on the screen and I thought, oh, it's me. You know, I could parachute myself into that body and I would know that that's exactly how my eyes would look. I would know that's exactly how my body would feel. So throughout the whole of this film, I was very on edge, but also really grateful for that representation of what is going on. And then I came out and I thought, you know what? There will be a very small percentage, thankfully, but there will be a very small percentage of people that go and see that film that will carry all of that into it.
Yeah.
And I wondered what other people would have got out of it. And actually I thought about, if I'd seen this film 3 years ago, would I have, quote unquote, enjoyed it? Because enjoy is a funny word, isn't it? But would it have spoken to me in the way that it does now? And of course the answer is no. So then I went round and round in circles thinking, well, is the reason I've given it 4 stars really because the biggest part of the film wasn't about Doctor Strange and his new pal America. It was actually Wanda and seeing her back on screen again and having loved WandaVision, then seeing that come to fruition. Discuss.
You're really not going to be happy with my opinion on this part of it.
Really?
I think Elizabeth Olsen's physical acting is brilliant in this. A lot of the time when she's delivering her lines, I thought they were really poorly delivered.
Wow.
Everyone is giving her praise, so I am in the minority on this, but there are some lines which she delivers where I just thought it was El Dorado levels of like woodenness. And
could you give me an example?
It's the bits where she talks very clearly and I can't remember examples of what she said, but there are bits where she talks and over enunciates everything.
Yes, I remember the enunciation. Yeah,
and I'm just like, I love you, Bunny. It just didn't play with me, and it took me out of the film. At those points, I totally agree that her physical portrayal is brilliant. But at points, I thought that her emotional delivery of lines just seemed completely out of it for me.
Wow.
Other opinions are available. Your mileage may vary. So yeah, but it annoyed me more than anything else, and it took me out. That was another problem that I had with the first act of the film. Never mind the fact that it was, we come to visit Wanda. She's a goodie. There, she's a baddie.
She's got her apple trees
Trees
out.
are dead.
Yeah, tree's dead. And then she's living in fire
Could we not have done that over like 20 minutes? Could that not have been a second act reveal and we could have introduced America Chavez and that would have it just took away all the drama from it. It was like, oh, did I mention a name? Oh, you never mentioned a name, did you? Yep, I'm the baddie. It was Wanda all along.
I quite like the way it zipped into it. But you would have had to have seen WandaVision for any of that to make sense. And also you would have had to have seen WandaVision. And the only reason I think I found it quite as emotional as I did was because I recall the episodes where those children were babies and then they grew up and then she had that relationship with them. And, you know, in WandaVision they have their own powers, I think, you know. And so you had all of that build up to it. I think if you just came along and was like, where these kids come from? Oh, she's imagined them, but they're in another multiverse. You just don't have all that baggage to take with you.
Yeah, I'd agree. And you know, this has dropped the second week of the box office. It's dropped a fair amount. It's dropped
like word of mouth.
More than you would anticipate. It's probably not going to reach the $1 billion that Spider-Man did, and obviously Spider-Man's one of the biggest films of all time. I think it's the third biggest film of all time worldwide now. So
behind,
it must be fourth. So it's behind Avatar and Endgame, and maybe Infinity War.
Okay,
it's I can check it if you want.
Right.
But yeah, you just carry on talking, and I'll sort that out.
I'm trying to think of what else I've got, because I was just thinking is there anything that we haven't covered? Do you think Wanda's dead? I thought she was dead, and then again, having
don't
saying
see
this
the
for the
body.
saying this for the 50th time now. I've listened to so many blaming podcasts.
There was nowhere
and
near
then other
the
people were
emotional
like,
thing to clip to
yeah, I suppose, yeah, and but I just sort of, I don't know whether I'm just really daft because I just sort of went, oh, she's dead. Oh, that's really sad. And that's like, it's such a like, and she crushes the like. I think I've taken the themes a bit too strongly, but she crushes the building on top of her body, and I loved all of that.
So as mentioned earlier, 6th biggest film of all time. But yeah, it's made nearly $2 billion. It's
Okay.
Avatar, Endgame, Titanic, Force Awakens, Infinity War, and then No Way Home.
Okay.
It's ahead of Jurassic World, which is in 7th.
Right.
And weirdly, the 2019 not live action Lion King.
Really?
Yeah, that's weird, isn't it?
Oh, that is weird. I would never have thought that. I wouldn't put that in top 10.
Well, it was. It is.
Do you have anything else that you want to say on?
Post-credit
Strange.
things. Did you stop for them this time?
I stayed for one. I didn't stay for the last one. I don't know why. I don't know whether I was just
Why would
desperate to
you not?
leave. I don't know. I think I just wanted to, like, there was something else I was going to do. So, yeah, and then I just thought, oh, I'll see. I think I'm getting to the point now, because like, I'm old, where I just think, oh, you know what, it'll be on YouTube when I get home. So what's the point of me sitting through all the credits
And have
while,
you
the
watched
staff
it
are in?
on
No, I
YouTube?
haven't. So mid-credit sting,
Well, hang on,
What?
let's go to the very ending. Because I don't understand what the very ending of this film was.
the bit where he's with the third eye.
Yes.
Yeah, and I have no idea. So he looks like he's off on a date, right? He
Yeah.
pops out of his building. He's in New York. He's got a new shirt on, and then
Maybe he's off to Rachel McAdam from...
well, we mentioned Virgin McCann, yeah. Have we? But yeah, and then his third eye that was with evil Doctor Strange.
Yes.
Who seemed to be the bit. I was like, I wonder if anyone else thinks this. When he finds those stairs, he goes into the building and the stairs up, and there's all that that smoke around them. And I just thought it really reminded me of that scene in Ghostbusters where Sigourney Weaver and
I thought
Rick
you said
Moranis.
stars in their eyes.
Well, the building's completely collapsed, and then in the distance you see the stairs up to like Gozer.
Tonight,
And
Matthew,
it's
I'm going to be Steve Strange.
And I was like,
but not the one from Visage.
It's like Ghostbusters, but anyway, on a big scale. So yeah, anyway, up the stairs, bad Dr. Evil, and he's got a funny eye, hasn't he? He's got a third eye.
Yeah.
But why and who and what and
And then they immediately undercut that with the post-credit sting. And this is a really poor post-credit sting.
are we talking about Charlize Theron?
Yes.
Turning up in
Yeah.
some purple
Yeah. And she
Right.
comes through and says,
and a big wig.
something's got to be done about your
Something's
kids.
got to be done.
Someone else has made that joke. It's not me, but I think it was the Slash Film cast. But yeah. So she comes up. She says, come with me if you want to live, or whatever it is.
She seems quite happy though. She doesn't look like a baddie.
Every fucker in the audience is going, who's this now?
Some sort of clear something.
Her name's Clea.
Right.
In the comics, she is the other love interest of Doctor Strange.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
Oh, I suppose McAdams is now sort of out of the picture because she's married to someone else.
It'll never last. and I'm sat there going, well, it's nice to see that Charlize Theron's in the MCU. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure she's not been in before. Who's this? What is this? And it just reminded me of the later X-Men films where their post-credit stings just contained something where you just went, who's that? And I look at my phone, oh, that's Apocalypse, is it? Oh, that's Oscar Isaac's in some really bad makeup
Right.
and a bad film. And then the next one, it was like, oh, there's some guy opening a suitcase. No idea what that's meant to mean. Don't think that was ever paid off in the end anywhere. I mean, the other thing we can point to where there was a character introduced where everyone went, who's that? Is Thanos in the original Avengers, which
Don't remember that.
has gone on to be at one point. Well, so at the end of the original Avengers, there is the introduction of the Thanos character, and it's just someone like it's not even.
Is it not a big CGI sort of?
Well, it is
person?
it's a CGI person, but it's
Okay.
not Josh Brolin at this
Brolin,
point.
yeah.
It's just someone else going. "Rah, rah, 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 rah." I can't remember. It mentioned something, and obviously, no one knew who that was at the time. But that obviously led to at one point the biggest film ever made. So can't really criticise. But I don't... It felt X-Men universe post-credit sting to me.
And then what happened at the end, then?
Right, so we revisit... Because you know how they normally do one storyline post-credit sting and one a bit comedy post-credit sting. So we revisit the pizza popper, and he's punching himself still.
I didn't like that.
And then it turned around and he turns to the camera and goes, "It's over." And that's it.
Is that it?
Do you understand the significance of Pizza Popper?
So that's Bruce Campbell.
Yes.
Right, so I get that guy. I know he's in all the Raimi films.
Yeah.
And he's a bit like a totem, isn't he? He pops up.
Yeah, he's like John
in all of them.
Ratzenberger in the Pixar films.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I get that. I thought the idea of Doctor Strange making him hit himself was really mean. I know he wasn't pleasant to the young girl, but I think there are... I don't know whether that's just like the teacher in me coming out, but I think there are ways of explaining to people how you deal with people who are unpleasant to you, and that doesn't resolve itself in violence, or a violence that doesn't stop, where he's constantly hitting him, maybe a couple of times, but not like forever and ever and ever until it... I found that quite cruel, and I didn't like that.
So the point of that is, in Evil Dead 2, Ash, played by Bruce Campbell's arm gets possessed, and so he has a fight with himself, famously on screen, probably one of the most famous scenes in Evil Dead 2. And so that's what it's referencing.
Okay.
I agree, if you have no knowledge, of which... I mean, how many people who've gone to see this will know Evil Dead 2? It's less than 50%.
The younger crowd
will just think it's a man hitting himself in the bollocks.
Yeah.
But yeah, there we go.
Okay. Thanks for that recap.
Yeah, so you missed nothing, but
there we go.
If you're gonna miss
I was
that
all
one,
right
that's
then.
Yeah,
I think I would have been annoyed if I'd waited for that, given I didn't know the context of it.
Yeah.
And actually, I didn't know it was Bruce Campbell until I came back from the cinema.
Oh, really?
And listened to the people, and they because they were saying, "Oh," and then Bruce Campbell rocked up. I was like, "Oh, maybe that's that Black Bolt guy. Is he called Black Bolt?
Yes.
Is that what he's called?" Yeah. So I thought, "Oh, that's him," because I couldn't see who he was. But yeah, no. Then I understand it's a pizza fella.
Do you know who the MVP of this film is?
Wong?
Nope.
Oh, the big bull man.
No.
The man with the Minotaur man head.
No.
Yeah?
Mantor,
that's him. I loved him. He was lovely.
Do you know who Mantor is?
No.
Mantor. No.
Oh, is he a wrestler?
Sorry. Yeah, Mantor is a wrestler
Of course
from
he
the...
is. Of course he is. You know when you ever asked me a question that revolves around something like, do you know who that is? I'm like, of course he's a wrestler.
Because he's a wrestler from the mid-90s
anyway,
who had
so
a
it's not
thing on his head. But he looks quite similar.
It was really good. I liked him. No, honey, I do not know who the MVP... I'm trying to think of other people who are in.
Look, there's Mantor.
Mark's showing me a picture of a wrestler now.
I mean, that is quite similar to what the guy looked like.
It is actually, yeah, it's very similar.
The best person on this entire show is Michael Stuhlbarg's agent.
Michael Stuhlbarg's agent. Because Michael Stuhlbarg has got him in the credits
as Michael Stuhlbarg.
A higher... Yeah, I don't think... Is he the guy at the beginning who's at the church at the wedding?
Yes.
And he's having a go at Strange.
Yeah,
and also like sort of winding him up.
He
for
plays
being
his like
wedding.
professional rival in the first film.
I liked what he said. I liked that whole idea of how do you know that? Those themes of how do you know that you were right? Was it worth it because he lost someone during the blip? I think he lost his brother or something. But it's that level of grief. Me, I'm a sucker for a grief theme. So I really quite liked that he was saying to him, he wasn't being overtly like an arsehole. He was just sort of saying, did you look at every other option and, hope it was worth it sort of thing. So I quite like that.
I mean, do you know him from other things?
I know the face, but I do not know him.
He's in everything. He's in Boardwalk Empire, plays Albert Rothstein.
Right. Okay.
I think he's in... I'm just scrolling through now. Yeah, he's in Steve Jobs. He's in...
He's definitely a face I recognise, but I don't know where from.
He's in Arrival. Mm-hmm. Miss Sloane. Did you watch Miss Sloane?
Nope.
Okay. It's in Shape of Water. The Post. Yeah.
You're just shouting out films I've not
I
seen
am.
now.
That's exactly what I'm doing. Yes. Yes.
Should we wrap it up?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, 4-star film.
4-star film.
We like different
with
things about this.
Yeah, I said that. I said that we would. I knew there were different things.
No, we can't wrap up.
Why? What? Oh, that was scary.
Do you know what my favourite bit of this was? Zombie Doctor
clean
Strange.
Oh no. Oh well, speaking of things that we're completely on opposites of, I hated that. I hated that so much. I thought the makeup was not. I don't want to pull the makeup apart because I don't want to say it's poor, but I just the whole time I'm thinking, oh, he's in zombie makeup. He's in zombie makeup. Oh, and it kept changing. I hated it. I thought that the emotional moments at the end where he's talking to America and he's talking to what but he's got this stupid makeup on. Just stop there being like he's in he's in another multiverse, but it would have been nice for them to get back to that one, for them to all to be there in the same space using his own face and not zombie. I hated
as
the
a
zombie.
plot device. That was
no,
cool, though.
Didn't like it, and I saw it coming a mile. All these people who've been going, oh yeah, I didn't know. I'm like, he
I didn't see it
zombie
coming.
buried him in the thing. Like there was so much made of like putting him in the roof. No, not for me, thanks. Not the best thing in it. One of the worst things for me, thanks. Yeah, that's all I've got to say about that.
Well,
should we wrap up now?
No, I want to have this argument with you. We can have it off air if you want. Just about.
Well, I don't think I'm going to change my mind. I really didn't. I didn't like. I love the idea of the souls of the. Is it the souls of the damned? The flyy black things.
Yeah.
I liked it when he utilised them. You know, when he because Rich McAdams told him what his job was and said, you're a sorcerer and you can control the spirits. I liked the imagery in that, but it just the whole zombie thing doesn't really do anything for me, to be quite honest with you. It wasn't scary, and I felt that it stopped the emotional beats coming through at the end. Why did you like it?
Because I thought it was a really clever way of taking him back to
You really
616.
didn't see it coming.
No, because I don't try and pick apart every plot.
No, I'm not.
You
I
do
didn't.
this,
No,
though.
no.
You
I wasn't
do.
sitting there thinking. It just seemed so obvious.
Bear in
I was
mind,
like,
we know
why are
each
we...
other, and I've seen plenty of different films with you, and
Yeah, but bear in mind that I was watching the film, and then they was like, oh look, he's dead, and then they showed us him so many times, and like, what we're gonna do with him? Oh, we're going to bury him here. You know, it just was so they stayed on it for so long. I thought they were gonna come back to that.
do you know what my least favourite part of this film was?
Is it me telling you that I don't like the zombie?
No, it's
bit?
the least favourite part of this podcast.
What's your least favourite part of the film?
The Book of Vishanti, because whenever they mentioned the Book of Vishanti, all I thought of is the Book of Ashanti.
Oh, I thought that's what it was.
No, it's Vishanti.
Oh, is it? It's
Yes.
not the Book of Ashanti.
No. And I couldn't name one Ashanti song that to sing
Were
to
you
you
trying to
during
sing
this
it?
during this podcast.
Oh wow, I thought it was the Book of Ashanti.
Well, it does sound
I was
like it. Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I did think that. I thought, oh, that's fun to name it after
After a middling R&B artist from the early to mid 2000s.
Well, I was like, maybe that's what she was named after. No, clearly not.
No.
Totally wrong.
Yeah. No.
Can we stop now?
Yeah, let's stop now. Let's stop. Stop quick while we're behind.
Yeah. So thank you everyone for listening. Sorry this has been a bit of a late review, but hopefully that's given you enough time to go and see the film and come back and have a listen to our very differing opinions on it, actually, given that we both gave it 4 stars. You can find us at The Honeymoon Pod on Twitter and Instagram, and we'd love it if you could leave us a review anywhere where you can leave reviews, or a star rating, as you can do now on Spotify. That would be brilliant. Thank you.
Well done.
Thanks. I thought that was pretty good as well.
I think we need to be back quite soon with a main show, because I've got loads of stuff I want to talk about.
And there's some really big shows coming out as well, like with flagship shows. So definitely coming back with some TV. And you, as you said today, have been to see a film. So we'll be talking about that one, I'm sure.
And I've also watched the most Elaine programme on Netflix that I've ever going to talk about. Yes.
Amazing.
Yes. So I've got half a mind that you'll go, oh, I've seen that.
So
but, yeah.
2-hour pod coming up maybe
Yes.
in the next week or so. So yeah, come back and see us for that. So thanks very much, everyone.
See you later.
See you later. Bye.